G'day homesteaders, YouTubers, home renovators. It's John Green. It's the next day of setting up my Shiplap. I want to give you a good look at it actually. So yesterday afternoon, after I put oil on these things, I actually started putting them together after dinner because there was time. And you know, there's some funny things, little things, but I just wanted to give you a look. So, how do you get it all straight when you're only one person working alone? Well, with two people, you know, of course a person could be on each end and make sure that everything's always going to be straight. But as an individual, I'll show you what's even easier. I take my trusty set square here and I just, on the table, so while after I've oiled it, on the table I put this thing down, and in this case you can even see on the boards that where the hole here, because there's a hole, that's why I even did shiplap in the first place, but I want to cover the hole. I guess you can see what I'm trying to do. I want to cover that hole up so you can't see it and all the boards look complete. So yeah, I just basically, on the table, I pop the square down, drill here, on the shorter ones I drill up there, so I've marked that out. But basically I just drill to the set square into the hole. Actually, I hope I'm showing this properly. Alright, so I literally look at where the hole is here, which I want to cover up. And then I just put it in a place that's a little lower than the hole. And to tell you the truth, it works out pretty good. The other one's only a centimetre higher, so there's not really much difference. I just don't want to waste too many centimetres going up, even though I do want to cover up all of these unsightly holes that you can see. But the real thing here is, and you can see I've left a couple in. I'm going to take them out. Right, here's one. Here's another one. All they do is they hold the place. So there's one there, there's one here, and I just put two screws in, right? On the table, I plop it down, put a screw in, shift it over, plop it down, put another screw in, and I'm done. I don't have to measure anymore. All I really have to do is measure the very first board. And the very first board has to be perfectly level. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty damn good. The thing is, I didn't even check after the first board. And as you can see, I've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards up. And I didn't have to check the level again. I mean, of course, I want to check the level because I don't want to do a bad job, but the level is still level. So even after I put up 5 boards, all alone, no help, you just plop the board onto the screws, screw in that board, and then you can see this board has screws in it already, ready for the next one. And yeah, then I just plop the next one on there and build it like Legos. It's actually very quick and very easy. I guess the thing that I was taking time with was putting a lot of screws in because I was so unsure of how strong this was going to be. So I did put a lot of screws in there. Maybe too many screws, I don't know. Also, you should use weatherproof screws. These are decking screws, so they're designed to be outdoors and on the ground. So yeah, they should last at least 25 years, it says on the packet. Let me show you what the shiplap looks like. Alright, I was putting small screws at the top. I don't know, maybe too many, there's 5. But I was putting small screws and then one big one. A big 4-inch screw, not 4-inch, what was that about? Yeah, maybe 4 inches. Alright, so what happens here, I don't know if you can see this right, but as the shiplap covers each one, if you can see in between, the big fat screw doesn't actually penetrate the board underneath. it just sort of squishes the top one down. And then I've screwed all of these, and then so that's very secure. And then next you can see again the big fat screw doesn't go into the bottom board, it goes above the bottom board, so the wood doesn't split. Okay, same deal. And then, you know, again, the big fat screw that I've got holding it in. It's a shame you can't really see it, I don't think. There it is. It's always above the board underneath, so it's not going into it. Whoops, all right, yeah, it's not going into it, it's going above it, and this way the wood stays intact for longer. To tell you the truth, it looks pretty damn good, I think. I've never really done shiplap before, but I saw a few videos on YouTube, and this is going to be a new video on YouTube. So you can see it looks pretty good. In order for this to be very, very secure, I'm going to have to do a few other things to sort of solidify it from the back. I might brace it with a bit more wood. You know, technically you should really put the wood on this side of the pillars, because then the sand and everything is pushing against the pillars, or against the wood against the pillar, whereas on this side the sand and the dirt is pushing against the screws, and the screws are nowhere near as strong as the pillars. But to tell you the truth, I didn't like the idea of the pillars being at the front, so I did a lot of other things to sort of shore this up. And this has been up here for 6 months at least. It's not moving, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lot of this soil from the top and shift it down here into here and stomp it all down so it doesn't move. And yeah, I'll shore up the back of it with some more pieces of wood and screws, maybe some cross beams. You won't see it because it'll be covered in soil, so all the wood has to be treated. It's funny, you know, from a distance it doesn't look flat to my eye, but I mean it looks like it's leaning down slightly, but that's only because everything around it, nothing else is straight. So when you get up close to it, you realize this is why you need a spirit level, because nothing is as sure as a spirit level. It can never ever be wrong. It just goes by gravity, and you know, gravity is the same all over the world, so you can't go wrong with that. And this is the first bit of shiplap that I did yesterday. And again, you just put the 2 screws, you can see them here, 1 screw here, 1 screw here. With the set square, just drop it down, put 2 screws in, drop the next one on top. This side part here maybe took 10 minutes yesterday. This part took a little longer because I'd made a few errors by showing the dark side of the wood when I wanted to show the light side of the wood. But that's just cosmetic. The shiplap works out very well. You probably can't see everything like I'm trying to show you, but the big fat nail, the 4-inch one, really does go above the plank that's underneath. You know, like there's a little bit of variation, but you won't notice that over time, because I had to use a jigsaw for some of this. But the variation's very slight, and I'm sure once the rest of the garden's put together you won't even notice. Alright, this is going to be filled with soil from up here, which has been the bane of my existence for the last few months because I've been moving it around, and we have to sort of jam rubbish and rocks and things back here just to fill it up. I mean, yeah, you could leave it empty, but I don't like that idea. I want to get rid of all of this stuff up here, really just sort of move it into behind here. And this shiplap looks pretty damn nice, if I don't mind saying so myself. It's very, very flat, very straight. Of course, you always have to check that you're level and plumb and all of that stuff. And then the putting of the boards up, the putting of the boards up, I don't know if that's correct English, but is the easiest part. Provided you go along put in 2 screws with your set square, doot, wherever you want to mark it out on your set square. Keep that consistent, and it will always be consistent with the very first plank that you put down. I always put the first plank down flat. I don't really want to kick out the bottom board. The rest of them can kick out. It's just the bottom one I like to be straight. No good reason. But I think it's more consistent with keeping the wall flat. And then I can sort of see the angle. Whatever, it's personal taste. You don't need many tools for this, but you have to have a spirit scale. A set square definitely helps. I don't know if that's called a set square or whatever, builder square or whatever. That's important. Otherwise, you don't need too many things. Weatherproof screws, because this job has to last a long time. And the hard part is the physical movement of all of this soil. That has taken me weeks, if not months, to move this, literally tons. And then I'm going to try and jam it all back here. Alright, so I'll film back here while we still have a chance to see the wood. And all of this beautiful, beautiful wood is going to disappear with soil. I've got some other boards and things I'm going to stick in here and screw in. And then it's going to be covered with soil. And this wall will go up maybe the equivalent height again, up to here. And then you won't see any dirt. You'll just see a wall. And then we'll plant plants that we want, not just stuff that grows because it rains. Alright, I'll do one more video of putting up the last shiplap wall, because that one's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to film doing the rest of this because I actually want to spend the time focusing on the job. And I found that if I'm focusing on the camera work too much, the job takes longer and it's less fun. So alright, I guess I'll be jamming this up with soil today, and tomorrow I guess we'll be able to film this last portion of wall, and we'll film the whole thing so you can see how the shiplap works, you know, with a flat board at the beginning and then just sort of doubling up and feathering out as we go. Thanks for coming. It's just a sort of let you know what's going on, and you get a good perspective. This wood, like I said, it was soaking wet and kind of not rotten, but you know, turning black. It's totally waterlogged, and now with some oil on it and everything, it actually looks pretty good. By the time I'm finished, there'll be about maybe 6 foot of retaining wall all the way around. I'm not sure what to do with the tops of the posts at this point. We'll figure it out soon enough. But I'll get this job done, and you can follow my progress right here on Green Ideas with John Green, keeping it green, recycling, doing all that. Thanks for tuning in.